Hello, Citronians. So, I have been willing to make this video for a while because I recently had an experience that helped me understand more clearly how the third eye thing works. And I am not going to share the experience itself right now. I am still not ready for that. But I want to share with you some insights that resulted from that experience. And I'm not trying to tell you that my understanding of the third eye chakra is the only possible way of understanding it. Instead, I am just sharing my perspective, and some of you might find it helpful because I never found the information that I was really looking for when I was researching about this to understand the experience I had. So here we go. So, as a tarot reader and astrologer, the third eye is important for me. When I'm reading tarot, especially when I'm reading for other people, they expect at least some form of prediction. And even when we say that we cannot really predict the future, that, future is not set in stone, this is not how tarot works, etc., even when we say that, we cannot fool ourselves because if a person is coming for a tarot reading, they are expecting the cards to give them some sort of guidance that will influence the outcome of their situation. So, even if you're like me and you see tarot as a tool to extract knowledge from your subconscious mind rather than a predictive tool, we shouldn't fool ourselves because the psychological approach to tarot is just a very sophisticated way of telling the future. So at the end, this is what we're doing anyway, otherwise, we're not really helpful to the querent. I have a full video about this called 5 Things I Learned as a Professional Tarot Reader. Link will be down below in the description box, so I'm not going to go into that here. But the art of predicting the future is very tricky because we don't really understand how the third eye works. When we have our third eye open, we can see across several dimensions in several different timelines. The sixth chakra, this is the third eye chakra, traditionally known as Ajna, is not limited by time and space. It doesn't know the difference between past, present, and future because in the dimension in which the third eye operates, past, present, and future are happening at the exact same time. Here is the most important piece of information to understand the sixth chakra and honestly to understand everything else in this universe. There is only ever now. Only the present moment is real. Linear time is an illusion of the third dimension. This means that when your third eye is open, you experience the past, the present, and the future at the same time as one thing. Our 3D brain will then organize this information into a linear progression because, that is what our 3D minds do. However, there is a catch. The future contains every possible outcome, every single possibility. That is, infinite possibilities. It is like having infinite numbers that can arrange themselves into infinite combinations, creating infinite outcomes. Right now, we are living and experiencing one of these combinations. Our lives are the 3D manifestation of one of these equations. When you open your third eye and you can see the so-called future, what you're really seeing is a sea of possibilities that can be manifested if you follow the paths that lead to those outcomes. So what you see is each different path unfolding different events. And now this is when the magic happens. Remember that from the perspective of the third eye, all of these events already exist. But from our 3D perspective, they are possibilities. Now, as a tarot reader, when I see in the cards future outcomes that are not looking very good, and no matter how I explain what I see, the future is looking a little dark, this means that the querent is creating those outcomes with their choices. And my job as a tarot reader is to be very well connected with my third eye so that I can find the equation that will generate a different outcome for the querent. And mostly this means that the querent will have to make choices that are completely unusual and out of the norm for them. Because, let's face it, if you do the same thing every day, you go to work, you come home, you make dinner, you watch YouTube videos, then you go to sleep, repeat, 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 then tomorrow, this is going to be your likely future also. It is not difficult to predict that tomorrow you wake up, you go to work, you come home, you make dinner, and you watch YouTube videos, and then you go to sleep. Your daily habits created the outcomes that the tarot reader is seeing, right? So here is the beauty of a tarot reading. As a tarot reader, I make sure I tell the querent an alternate future and how to get there, because we can literally speak things into existence by finding, amidst all possible outcomes, one path that will provoke a different scenario or the best case scenario. So one mistake that I see readers and psychics and clairvoyants and energy healers making, and I have made these mistakes as well, is that sometimes during a tarot reading, it looks like the choices are very limited. And this is because you cannot expect different outcomes from the same habits. So these images will feel like they are almost set in stone. But this is an illusion of the third dimension. Remember that the sixth chakra cannot tell the difference between a possibility and a manifested reality. All right? So one thing that we have to do as, people that work with tarot or any form of divination, we have to surpass this illusion and look a little further. If you stretch your view a little further as a reader, you will notice that there is a possibility of a better outcome beyond the vibration of the querent. And the querent will have to do their homework and make different choices in order to change their vibration. You see, because it's really their vibration that is creating those outcomes. So first, you need to be 100% aware that there is more than one likely future. The one future you are seeing as the likely future is the possibility that is matching your vibration right now. But you are capable of changing your vibration and therefore changing your likely future. So sometimes, in order to change an outcome, we have to change our own frequency. And here is the thing. We only see the options which are a match. We are not programmed to see beyond our own frequency for obvious reasons. I mean, our 3D body is programmed to save energy. It is not going to waste any energy on options that are seemingly out of reach, right? So I'll make a crap analogy to illustrate, but let's say you're getting married and you walk into a store to choose a wedding dress. The people at the store will ask you, what is your budget? And once you say how much you can spend on a wedding dress, they will show you the dresses that you can afford. They are not going to show you dresses that you cannot afford because it's pointless. It's gonna waste everyone's time and make you upset because you might really like a dress that is out of reach to you and your experience at the store will be ruined. So, your 3D body is programmed to do just that. Now, when we are experiencing low vibration, and guys, even people who are mostly high vibe go through moments of low frequency, okay? It's like walking in the store with not enough money. So you only have a couple of options and they may not even be great. Now imagine that you walk into that store with unlimited budget, and when the people at the store ask you how much you can spend on a wedding dress, you say, you know what, show me everything and I'll pick the one that I like. I don't care how much it costs. That, my friend, is the goal. If you're working on your third eye, your objective is to see the whole damn store. And for that, you need an unlimited energetic budget, or at least you need enough to buy the dresses in the most expensive rack if you want to. However, do not be fooled. Sometimes being able to see beyond obvious outcomes is a curse. Many people cannot handle knowing what they could have, but they will not have because they cannot maintain the energy levels required to reach that outcome. And this happens when, for whatever reason, you have an energetic spike that raises your vibration. An example of that is when you use psychedelics like shamanic medicine or magic mushrooms, and the effects raises your vibes so much that all of a sudden the whole store is illuminated and you can see all options. This is why people have profound insights about what to do with their lives under the effects of psychedelics, but the problem is, once the effect subsides, you are back to your previous frequency, and even though you can see the options, you realize you cannot have them with your current vibration. So the right way to use psychedelics is to integrate the experience and use it to make the changes you need in order to go back to that state that allows you to have different options. But many of us are not willing to do the work. I'll make a full video about magic and psychedelics next, so stay tuned because we don't have time right now to go into that. Now, enough said about how this thing works. I want to share with you how to actually gain this vision and activate your third eye. Now, many spiritual paths have taught how to open your third eye, whether it's through meditation, through specific exercises and diets. All of them are helpful. But this is not the point of this video because there is enough information about this out there. Here, I just want to share with you how I stimulate my third eye, which is basically how I stimulate my pineal gland. And this is purely based on my own experience, and you can do it too if you're like me and you do not plan on becoming an ascetic and abandoning mundane life for the sake of your third eye, because in the past the ascetics would just abandon society and live in isolation with a strict diet, and yeah, they would surely open the third eye as a result, but I ain't got no time for that in this lifetime. You see, it's not that the information is wrong or outdated, but I feel that nowadays we should be able to achieve higher levels of consciousness without having to abandon mundane life, because nowadays it's more meaningful to us as a society if we learn how to do that while we are here living our lives. Okay, this is what is going to help our society. Achieving higher levels of consciousness in the 3D body, living a mundane life, having a job, having a family, having to make money. This is what's going to make a difference for us. Okay, so this is my goal. Right, so opening the third eye is a natural result of raising your vibration to a specific point. The information stored in the sixth chakra vibrates at 852 hertz. So this is where we need to go. Hertz are like energetic addresses, okay? So you need to tune in to 852 hertz. There are other frequencies associated to the third eye. Sometimes 720 hertz also works, especially when the third eye is out of balance. But I like to combine 852 with 963 hertz. 963 is the crown chakra frequency, and for me, the third eye and the crown chakra need to be stimulated together for best results. So, when you go to sleep, listen to either 963 Hz or 852 Hz. I use pure tones. There are pure tones on YouTube for specific frequencies, so just type the frequency that you want on the YouTube search bar and you will find a lot of those. Right, low volume, not loud enough to disturb your sleep. Listen to it while you are lying down and train your mind to tune in to that frequency. After some days or some weeks, your mind will naturally match this frequency. And I find that falling asleep to pure tones is the best way because when you fall asleep, you are letting go of the resistance. Also, when you wake up, write down your dreams if you can remember them. In my experience, they will reveal whether your vision is expanding or not, because they will reveal options that you had never thought of before, because they were out of reach when you had a different vibration. So, one thing that happened to me during my little experiment is that I would wake up with incredible ideas. Just like what I said about psychedelics, it is no point elevating your vibration at night and then the next day you go back to your low vibe self. So, in order to keep the vibration, there are a few things you can do. And one of them is holding or wearing certain crystals and stones that bring you to a certain vibration. In my experience, moldavite and pretty much all tektites are the best. Since I started wearing my moldavite pendant 24/7, I feel that I'm always, vibrating in a certain frequency. This is by far the most powerful thing for the third eye, in my opinion. I noticed that while I wear my moldavite, I unconsciously reject things that would bring my vibration down. So that helps. Of course, it comes with a few problems, and I'll make a full video about my experience with moldavite some other time. But yeah, it works. So, I am not gonna tell you to go on a strict vegan diet and avoid alcohol and sugar because I am not a good example of that at all. I avoid red meat, but I like a good glass of wine, and if there is chocolate near me, I am going to eat it because my little 3D life is too damn short not to eat chocolate. So, what I'm going to tell you instead is to every time that you feel that you ate too much, that you drank too much, that you ate a lot of sugar, be aware that this will temporarily bring your energy down. So, in order to make up for that, you can water fast for 2 or 3 days if you can. I never stop myself from eating what I want, except if it's red meat, because I honestly do not even like it all that much, even though sometimes I eat it. But I will not refuse going out for pizza with my family, drinking wine or beer with my friends, or eating sweets if I want them. But in the occasions that I do that, I will water fast the next couple of days in order to balance my energy. And it can go back to a point in which my third eye is healthy because as a tarot reader and astrologer, I need that. So honestly, if you're trying to always keep your vibration high at any cost, you will not have a life. You would have to retreat and be an ascetic in the mountains like the good old masters. But the fact that many of us are not going to do that does not mean we cannot experience our best possibilities as non-ascetics. And I find it even more important in our time, as I said before, to train people to become their best versions while still being in a 3D body, living a mundane life. Because this is what is meaningful in our time. So, the most important thing is to be able to switch back to the right frequency when, for whatever reason, you fall. Let's not aim right now at not falling. Let's not aim right now at not falling because it will be frustrating. Instead, when you fall, learn to go back to the right frequency. Please have that in mind. It's okay to fall. It's okay to have a life. Just learn to switch back and you will be completely free. But that's for another video. So I could go on, but I think this video is already too long, so let's stop here. I will make another video about psychedelics and magic and also about my experience with Moldavite. And with that, I hope you find some inspiration to stimulate your third eye chakra. If you watched till the end, thank you, you are the best. If you are a new subscriber, welcome and say hello in the comments so that I know who you are. So I will see you next time. Bye bye.